Thank you, McSpeaker, and I will just conclude with a few comments on the amendment before us, and just to refresh the House, we are considering CWHB Liberal Change Sheet 1, which I think we all got last time. And this amendment is probably quite similar to many of the amendments that will follow. A little birdie told me, but they all, of course, anticipate a support of fixed elections and a desire to change that date, and I guess in the case of this one, to have some consultations. And so I did just want to say one or two things on the consultation piece, because I think what we have heard from the government so far in this debate is some assertion that summer elections are fine, summer elections are good. We've talked to people, summer elections are okay. And I do want to draw, again, the members' attention to a poll that was conducted by Narrative Research last week. And this poll was commissioned by Civics, and we at this point know that Civics, which runs the student vote program, has really been at the forefront of this sort of challenge to the July date, because they're concerned for the education of P through 12, or maybe it's 4 through 12 students in the province who have traditionally accessed that student vote program in large numbers. But I want to say that although it was commissioned by Civics, it was conducted by Narrative Research, which is a nonpartisan, very well-known polling operation here in I don't know what technically called, Narrative Research, a research organization here in Nova Scotia. And I will table this, but I want to remind the members that what Narrative Research found, and I'll just read from the summary, is that the vast majority of Nova Scotians support the idea of having a fixed election date, 90%. But despite high levels of support, the proposed date for fixed elections of July 15th, 2025 is only favored by a minority, with 6 in 10 opposing the date. And in fact, they say there is significant opposition to the proposed date under consideration, 61% oppose, and a clear preference among the vast majority for a date of fixed elections to be in October. And I'll table that. And so I bring this to the attention of the members at the opening of the continuation of this debate today, to just frame this conversation we're having once again with, I think, what are at this point the givens of this debate. So given we support fixed election dates, everyone in this House supports fixed election dates, and given no one on this side of the House, as far as I can tell, supports a summer fixed election date. And that is because we are representing our constituents, also most of whom do not support a July fixed election date. And so as this debate continues, I really want to hear if there is anything to be said from the government about why they would go against the will of the public, the will of Nova Scotians, to impose a date that you know, doesn't make sense in terms of historical precedents, doesn't make sense in terms of public opinion, doesn't make sense in terms of education. You know, I think there have been very compelling reasons raised why this is not an appropriate date. And I think that the Premier, to his credit, has taken some time in the last few weeks to listen to criticisms of his legislation and of the bills that the government has brought forward. And this is a bill that absolutely will have, I suspect, I can't speak for everybody, but I suspect this bill would have unanimous consent if the date changes. Because I think this is a bill that is, I think fixed election dates are overdue. It's time for fixed election dates in Nova Scotia. We're the last province that doesn't have them. And I think it's time, but I think we need to do it right. And I think we need to listen to our constituents. I think we need to listen to the public. And I think we need to change the date. And so with that, I will take my seat and hear what my colleagues have to say.